In the light of recent events, that is, I don't understand why these CIA creatures, MI6 creatures, are surveilling me, and why that disgusting human being sent me those messages the other day, and why taxpayers are supposed to pay for his hacking my email, sending me his stalker text, and what's the use of me? This is I don't understand. I sometimes carry the phone and I hear those fucks breathing and doing their stuff because I hear their microphone too. There is something wrong with their equipment. So he was talking to me about all this, about these javelins. And I really am. It's a quote from the Sopranos series. Just when I thought when I was out, they pulled me back in. I think it's The Godfather, yeah. And yeah, what the fuck do I have to do with Russian army? Because I have nothing to do with Russian army, okay? Yeah. And also, I don't care about these things. I am a woman, and by nature, we do not care about war, destruction, and machines that bring them. So, anyways, his messages to me are again: did you see that Russian army has been scattered? They are in full retreat, also leaving behind much equipment, weapons and supplies as they flee. Ukrainian has also now attacked Russian city in retaliation. I see you have turned better as salt. Impressing. Long live Ukraine. Did you get dumped again? Did you? Or just flat batteries in your vibrator? I'm going to say both. So lovely, I can see why your man knocked you up, then left you, such a lady. Sanctions have a way of biting, that's the idea. Okay, well, I shall leave you in your angry mental state. I hope for your sake things improve. I shall forget about you now and delete you from my phone. Good luck. Oh yes, my home and town are shit, you're right, it's such a struggle here. I desperately want to move to Russia, it's so much better living under a dictator. Don't forget they ain't losing. How many tanks do they have left? 6? I know they only have 5 Su-57 planes flying. The mighty Russian army stopped being mighty in 1917. 6. Now the world is laughing at them. They can't even take down penny Ukraine. We developed the Javelin weapon that the USA uses on your tanks. We developed the bionic ear. So I don't, God damn it. You see why I want to kick him? He deserves a kick in my fucking mind. Like, in my mind, he deserves to be kicked with a leg on his fucking backside. Because once this special operation started, I heard this liberal Russian media talking about javelins, and I heard these Ukrainians talking about javelins, and how, like, wow, what a wonder it is. And I knew back then that it's nothing interesting and nothing to write home about, so to say. Not because I'm expert in the military field, but because I know Ukrainians. And knowing Ukrainians, I know for sure, it's not worth my time. And because of his shit, I actually had to look it up. And yeah, here is the thing, and it's complicated. It gets complicated explaining all this. First of all, let's talk about Hermes. This is a picture and a comment I found online. You are on point about Hermes that very few people know about before the start of hostilities. The Sumerians, he calls Ukrainians the Sumerians, boasted of javelins with a range of 2.5 kilometers. It was funny to me because we had a super complex capable of demolishing a tank battalion or squadron in almost full force at a distance of 100 kilometers, 24 out of 31. And the heat is in the turret, like that of the javelin, only has a range 40 times higher, and there is no danger for the operator to receive a response. But for some reason, our strategists from the Ministry of Defense decided that difficulties harden our soldiers and let them fight tank against tank in the old-fashioned way, or use old anti-tank system with a range of 5 to 10 kilometers. So they have all these super duper weapons that they are not using. It's because of these terms, special operation and stuff like that, and because they don't want them to be stolen and copied, I think. Hermes high precision multi-mission guided weapon, supersonic missile extended range, enhanced lethality, unrivaled capabilities, designed to equip ground-based vehicles, can destroy ground and floating target at ranges up to 100 kilometers, capable of salvo fire, provides effective counter-battery fire. A supersonic missile of Russia's latest Hermes long-range guided weapon system will be able to destroy any Western tank with an almost 100 guarantee, as was proven during trials. A representative of Shipunov Design Bureau of Instrument Making the System Development told us at the Army 2020 forum on Thursday. Following the results of a full cycle of Hermes trials at the proving ground with the destruction of various types of targets, and conclusion was made that just one missile of the system will be enough to reliably eliminate any existing Western tank. The company's representative said, adding that the destruction probability was 98-99%. A Hermes missile may deviate only by 50 centimeters from the target, even when it is fired to a maximum range of 100 kilometers, with ammunition flying at 4 times the speed of sound, he said. The Hermes anti-tank guided weapon system comprises several reconnaissance and guidance drones that help detect and eliminate the target, the company's representative said. At its specific features, the system features a combat module with launchers for 6 missiles. The module can be mounted on any chassis, including armored vehicles. The Hermes can deliver salvo fire against 6 targets at a time. Apart from the enemy armor, the system's missiles are effective against command of staff vehicles, communication centers, and depots. A missile carries a high explosive fragmentation warhead with 20 kilograms of TNT. The new Cornet D, developed by the Tula KPB, was first demonstrated in 2011 and became a deep modernization of the Cornet complex, which has been in service since 2009. The new system uses modernized missiles with an increased firing range 9M 133M2, tandem culminative warhead firing range up to 8,000 meters, a 9-meter 133FM3, thermobaric warhead firing range up to 10,000 meters. Hence the letter D, long range, in the name of the complex. At the maximum flight range, the missile penetrates 1.5 meters of armor, which guarantees 100% destruction of any armored target. Anti-jamming automatic missile guidance with a teleorientation in the laser beam. The Cornet D uses an optical electronic sighting system with a telethermal imaging sight with high-resolution television cameras and a third-generation thermal imager, a built-in laser rangefinder and laser missile guidance channel, as well as an automatic target tracking device with guidance drives. All this eliminates the blinding or defeat of the rocket by means of active or passive protection of armored vehicles. Actually, this fact was confirmed in practice by Israelis in Lebanon, having lost 12.5 of the most modern tanks in the world, the Merkava and other armored vehicles. According to the designers, the complex can fire at a mobile stationary ground, sea, and air targets, and simultaneously fire at 2 targets or fire 2 missiles at 1 target at one beam from one launcher. The use of Cornet D against air targets is one of the main know-how of the Russian system. A powerful thermobaric or high explosive warhead allows you to hit both unmanned aerial vehicles and enemy helicopters with high efficiency. Moreover, as the designers say, this even makes it possible to compensate for possible missiles, ensuring the effective defeat of UAV or helicopter due to excess pressure with a miss of 3 meters. The appearance of a mobile version of these complexes is designed to increase the effectiveness of anti-tank units due to mobility and security. The military-industrial company told Zvezda TV channel that the integration of the Cornet complex launcher block onto the Tiger M armored car makes it possible to declare the complex as multifunctional. The machine has a 6th level of protection, the company expert emphasized. This means that it can be shot point blank with armor-piercing bullets of 7.62 caliber. It's not afraid of a mine explosion with a power equivalent of 3 kg of TNT. And in combination with the fact that the Tiger can now fight not only against infantry but also against tanks, helicopters, and unmanned aerial vehicles, makes it truly multifunctional combat unit. These machines will be the first for the Russian Ministry of Defense, and after the parade they will be transferred for military testing. HEGM Cornet can hardly be called a novelty. A portable version of this anti-tank system has been in service with our and a number of armies of the world since 2009. Proved himself in combat and even managed to become a real curse for the Israeli and American military. Both those and others called the Russian ATGM a real curse for their combat vehicles. In 2006, the Cornet E export ATGM participated in the hostilities between the Israel army and the Hezbollah group in southern Lebanon. According to an Israel army report, the Russian complex destroyed 46 Merkava tanks during the conflicts. The Iran agency, referring to Hezbollah-owned An-Nur radio station, wrote that a certain American report circulating in diplomatic missions in Lebanon claims that the data officially announced by Israel on losses in Lebanon are very much underestimated, and Israel actually lost 164 tanks and other armored vehicles equipped with advanced means of active and passive protection against ATGMs. Recently, journalists from the British trade publication Jane's Defense Weekly presented their research and unearthed that the Iraqi military managed to keep only 40 vehicles out of 140 M1A2 Abrams tanks supplied by the United States in 2010-2012. And again, the Russian Kormet ATGM, which fell into the hands of the militants of the Islamic State, is to blame for this. So you see, all this equipment gets stolen and enemy gets saving the honor of the uniforms. The US military claims that all the losses in the tanks were the result of the capture of equipment by Islamic militants at the bases of the Iraqi armed forces. As a result, all of it was hit by American aircraft. However, a number of sources say that the lion's share of US equipment fell victim to Russian anti-tank guided missiles 9M133 of the Kornet complex, which came to militants from Syria. British weekly experts write that they personally witnessed the destruction of 5 Abrams tanks by ATGMs. According to them, in the period of January 1st to the end of May 2014, 28 tanks from those supplies by the United States under the 2010-2012 contract were knocked out. The reports highlighted the effectiveness of the 9M113 Kornet anti-tank missile, now called the Abrams Killer. For example, in the west of Anbar province on June 6, 2014, one of the Iraqi Abrams tanks came under heavy fire from several RPG-7 and 79 OSA grenade launchers from the arsenal of the former Yugoslav army. They did not bring any harm to the tracked vehicle until they fired from the Kornet. Instantly hit, the turret was on fire, pouring thick black smoke. Surveys of the downed Americans show that the Russian effective shaped charge destroys the crew, although it does not lead to the complete destruction of the combat vehicle divided into compartments. It did not help that due to the danger of being hit by the Russian Kornet anti-tank system, the Americans were forced to significantly increase the armor protection of the Abrams. As a result, the machine became heavier from 57 to 70 tons. The Kornet anti-tank missile system was created in Tula at the world-famous Instrument Design Bureau. As designer Lev Zakharov recalls, when created the Kornet ATGM, it was necessary to develop not only a new high-tech missile with a modern element base with a beam control system, but also a new sight guidance device based on a high-frequency laser diode. The development of anti-tank system was difficult. There was not enough funding since the Russian Ministry of Defense in the early 90s no longer had the necessary financial resources. And if it were not for foreign customers from the Arab countries, the complex could not have taken place at all. It so happened that the Kornet was highly appreciated in one of the countries of the Arab world, and after a large number of tests at home, the Arabs signed a contract with us. I must say that they do not buy anything at all until they see with their own eyes and test the products directly at home during the hot time in July or August, when the temperature is about 50 degrees in the shade with 100% humidity. On the morning of September 25, Iranian-made Shahed 136 Giran-2 drones attacked the building of the headquarters of the Yug Command of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in Odessa. Pravda.ru reports which reference to the operational command of the headquarters. According to the eyewitness, the strikes were carried out by the 3 drones of the object of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The Russian Defense Ministry did not confirm this information. And this kamikaze drone is interesting. It seems to be slow-moving, loud, and it seems that you can shoot it down with a shotgun. But go ahead, even air defense does not hit that, because the engine is so low power that its temperature is below the sensitivity threshold of the missile guidance head. It turns out that in terms of price-performance ratio, it is such an interval that it is not clear how to work on it. Bang, and exactly on the headquarters building of Yug. On the night of September 25th, 26, several strong explosions occurred in Odessa region. After that, a fire started. The detonation of ammunition became audible in the city. The fire was extinguished only a few hours later. According to the media reports, the purpose of the night attack by unmanned aerial vehicles Giran 2 was depots of foreign ammunition in the villages of Zatoka and Bugaz. The glow of fire that rose into the sky was visible several tens of kilometers from the epicenter of explosions. It was also reported that the Ukrainian military personnel unsuccessfully tried to shoot down kamikaze drones from small arms, and the anti-aircraft system of the Ukrainian air defense systems were powerless. So I tried to say that it was a big mistake to kill Iranian generals, because if I try to explain why it was a huge mistake to kill them, it will take a long fucking time to do this. Because Iran, it's not a simple stuff that they show you on TV in your dumb shithole home made from carton box. Iranian are heirs to the Persian Empire. They are very sophisticated people, and to fuck with them, you have to be either fucking dumb or have a balls of steel and some disease that doesn't, where you are not able to experience any fear or see any consequences of your actions, because they are not as they are portrayed on your TV, because Iranians have very strong army and they are a force to be reckoned with, and to kill their generals for no obvious reason at all, it's just silly. And all this and to explain what is the old times and Persia and how things are very elaborated and very sophisticated. It just person has to know what a Persia is. A person has to know this basic knowledge from his school or from his reading, personal reading, or at least a memory of some Alexander movie with this Angelina Jolie or whoever. It's that all these armies that you think are bad and impoverished are not really like that. And it's like I was talking about this shooting that happened last summer, and I was talking about this actor, CIA actor, Salvatore Ramos, and I was talking how it happened on the day when Mars entered constellation of Aries. And there I was talking about how the name Martin means Mars, god of war. And then will be this CIA bot replying to me. It's just, and his reply would be, Martin doesn't mean Mars, and Romans didn't worship the celestial bodies, and the gods do not have connection to the celestial bodies, such as Mars, god of war. It doesn't have anything to do with Mars, the so-called planet. And he would tell me that Martin doesn't mean Mars, and that god of war is really Ames. And when reading this, I just don't remember exactly the comment that he sent to me, this fact checker. But this kind of broke my brain, really. First I had to figure out that the Ames, which he said was a Roman god of war, actually he meant Ares, the Greek god of war. It's just you have to explain to people that Roman people in the Roman Empire used to speak Latin, and Martin means Mars in Latin, and in Greece people spoke Greek, and Ares is a Greek name, and because he's misspelled, it's just in his fucking head. The Greek and the Roman are the same civilizations, and it's mixed with his head. He doesn't understand that the Romans actually spoke Latin, and it's just these CIA agents, they have been, I don't know, they're just inbreeding, and it's just homeschooling by the Church of Joseph Smith or something like that. And when you think that somebody can be so fucking dumb that they cannot even look things up on the internet before they start to say something, like they heard on TV that, or somebody told them at school that javelins were developed by Australians, when it really was by Texas Instruments in Texas. I mean, he could have looked it up. And the bionic ear, oh my god, he told me about bionic ear. I heard recently on the news there was some transgender person who had bionic vagina. It's just, I don't know. It just breaks my brain for reals. and they took their vagina, they cut out vagina from a dead person, and they cleared the tissue somewhat, and they transferred it onto a male who perceives himself as a female. For fuck's sake.